Good morning, welcome to Marty's Tying Bench. This morning I'm putting together kits for this week's Vice Squad, and since damsel season is just about upon us, I thought an adult electric blue damsel would be a good pattern. You notice it isn't like a dragonfly with the wings stuck out to the side. This one has the wings folded along the abdomen like the damsels do. I'm tying this on a Dai Riki 070 size 12. You can use just about any hook. You don't need much hook shank to tie on. I also like this on scud hooks. I've got the luxury of some blue thread, but black will work if you're a little careful with your wraps so that it doesn't show through. The peacock blue UTC is good. 140 deniers are recommended. This is a 6/0 uni thread in silver Dr. Blue. Now, for abdomen material, I've got some damsel body material. I made this out of some braided monofilament running line. It's the same stuff they make braided loops out of for the end of your fly line. And I dyed this blue with Kool-Aid, if you can believe it, or just a regular blue food coloring. Now I'm wrapping it fairly tightly, get it to stay on top of the hook, but I'm not going to go all the way back to the bend. I'll get there with subsequent steps. Now before I trim it to length, I'm going to get a black Sharpie, and I'm twisting that material so that I can get ink all the way around. And if you prefer, you can make your marks on a big long length of this stuff to start with. But it's a lot easier to show you how when it's on the fly itself. Now, for wing material, I'm using Montana Fly Widows Web. This is a big hank of polypropylene yarn. This stuff will float. It's buoyant on its own. So you don't need a whole lot of volume. And I'm going to start wrapping those along the back, and to add just a hint of flash, I got some of Hairline's Ripple Ice Fibers. This stuff is flat and crinkly, and I only need a couple of strands of it, 2 or 3. And taking those strands by the middle, if I tie them in and then fold the long ones back, now I've got 4 strands. Hold that all together as a bundle and move my thread back until I get right above the bend of the hook. Now I can come forward and mash those tips down a little bit. Now the length you want to trim this is something a little shorter than the abdomen length. The tail on the bug is going to extend past his wings. So now for a body and abdomen, thorax, kind of a wing case, I've got some 2mm craft foam. And I don't want to crowd the hook with this. I need some room for the tie down, so I'm just going to tie that tip in a little bit. And then while I hold it on the top, I'm going to spiral back with firm but not too tight of turns. This foam cuts real easily with thread, so I just want to mash it down a little bit, but I don't need to crush it completely to the hook. Now my thread has got back to where everything is under that last wrap. It's seamless. For dubbing, I've got some ice dub Steelie Blue. Now, this is a kind of a long fiber, but it actually dubs fairly easily. It's soft. You can also use Wapsi's Prism dubbing in electric blue. That's what I originally used, and that's kind of how I named this one. Now, since I didn't crush that foam down, I'll get a little buoyancy out of it, so I don't want to crush it down with these wraps either. Just be a little bit firm. There we go. I'm going to fold that foam over. And you don't want to stretch it, you want it to just lay naturally. Couple of wraps right on top of each other. And then squeeze everything into place and pull it a little bit tighter. There, I think I got 4 total wraps holding it in, and none of them are very tight. Now I'll lift that out of the way. Now I can get tight. Whip finish. Now I'm going to trim this thing so that it's kind of a hood over the eye, but there's still plenty of access to it. I'll cut the thread and any of the stray fibers from the dubbing. Now I'm going to hold the back of that wing and come in with the brush and just kind of tease it back against itself. I didn't mention it, but if you twist that yarn, it's a lot easier to handle when you're tying, but then you want to loosen it back up before you fish it. So, there you go, electric blue damsel. Should be easy to cast, not wind resistant, doesn't have those big wings sticking out the side. Have fun with it.